Thank you. For 1 minute, Mr. Henkel.
Last week, the CEO of the port of Dover went to Brussels and presented his view of Brexit. And he made it very clear that if the trucks, 10,000 trucks going in and out of Dover every day, are only held up by 2 minutes because of Brexit, there would be a 17 miles queue outside Dover, an equivalent chaos in Dunkirk and Calais. And yesterday, the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung reported that Brexit alone cost Britain 32 billion euros a year because of bureaucracy and customs, and by the way, 37 billion euros will it cost to the remaining European countries. In other words, it is very clear Brexit remains a lose-lose situation. And what surprises me here is that almost everybody except the Brexiteers to my left here hate Brexit, but there is nobody in this House trying to stop it. And I think it is time, Mr. President, that you make Britain a new offer, an offer which Britain can't refuse, an offer which Britain gives what they always wanted. Let them give some more autonomy over their immigration, and let's keep them in the European Union.
Madam Dodds, 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Madam President. This morning we have heard of the European Union's desire for a close partnership with the UK post-Brexit. Yet there is no spirit of conciliation and compromise. And nowhere is this more evident than in the draft legal text on Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, which this resolution supports. This is aggressive interference in the internal affairs of the United Kingdom. It would be disastrous for Northern Ireland economically. It violates the principle of consent, a core principle of the Belfast Agreement, and it goes well beyond the Belfast Agreement in its North-South proposals. In fact, it is a text that no British Prime Minister could agree to. It has achieved the seemingly impossible of uniting the British Parliament against it. Last week, my party told Mr Barnier that we wanted practical solutions on the border. These proposals are a very far step away from it.
Thank you. Mr. de Graff, 1 minute, please.
President, the EU should stop its warmongering between Ireland and the UK when it comes to the border with Northern Ireland. The Irish and the British will work it out together, as they did before. And you very well know that anything the EU touches becomes a filthy mess. Therefore, Mr Juncker, back off and start working on a decent trade deal. A deal without trade with the UK, your already failed project will certainly go bankrupt. So make a deal without protectionism, a deal without tariff barriers, without EU jurisdiction, without full EU rights for EU citizens in the UK, a deal without free movement of people, a deal that fully respects the absolute sovereignty of the United Kingdom. Get on with it or be gone.
Mr. Batten, 1 minute.
Commission's draft withdrawal agreement. We've had Mrs May's response. The Commission wants unconditional surrender and Mrs May will settle for conditional surrender. The EU referendum was brought about and won by the UK Independence Party, and UKIP's position is no surrender. When the British people voted to leave, they voted to take back control. No more money to the EU. No more EU laws imposed upon us, no more open borders. Brexit must mean exit. Now, our future relationship with the EU will be one of trade, friendship and cooperation, something that UKIP has argued for the last 25 years. We will not accept subservience to the EU. We want full independence and the return to our former status as an independent democratic nation state. Thank you.
Mr. Woolfe, 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Fear, dread, alarm, panic, terror, pain. That is all that you hear from those on that side of the House will occur to Britain once we leave the European Union. Not the positive message that we have campaigned for, one where Britain will be independent, looking outwardly to the rest of the world and still being friends with the European Union. And this paper that you present today is one more attempt at fear. But this fear is to try shackle Britain, undermine us. And the reality is, it's the European Union's fear of Britain. Fear of Britain succeeding. Fear of Britain leaving this club and doing well. But I will tell you, Britain has never feared looking forward to the future. We weren't in fear when we came to your aid from the times of Nazism to communism. We weren't fearful when we had to tackle our own economic problems. And we will not live in fear leaving outside of the European Union. We will embrace it and look forward to a bright future. So I think you ought to learn that lesson now.
Will you accept, first of all, Mr.
Thank you very much, Chair. Dear colleague, I would like to ask you, because there are so many ties between the European Union and UK. UK and the European Union are so much intertwined. Who is going to pay, all these costs of the Brexit if one day UK decides to come back within the European Union? You, the Brexiteers, are going to pay them?
What I will say to you is that Britain will not return to the European Union. What you will find is that more countries will want to leave the European Union, because when our economy is growing faster than yours, when our regulations are not imposing the costs on small businesses that you have, and when you finally realise it's actually politicians and democracy and the people that make the decisions over their lives, not unelected commissioners, then you will see that more of Europe will want to leave and join Brexit as well. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute, Mr. Flack.
Thank you. Let us negotiate as equals. Do not try and bully us. We are not Norway or Canada. We've almost double the population of Canada and 10 times that of Norway. We are a true world power. We offer Europe friendship and cooperation. But be of no doubt, there will be an independent, free, prosperous British lion off your shores. You will not chain us. Do not be fooled by political has-beens coming from the UK like Blair and Clegg, desperate for publicity, acting as some sort of third column trying to stop Brexit. Or worse still, agree a deal that will leave the UK so weak we come back cap in hand in decades to come. Be of no doubt, that will not happen. We are offering you tens of billions of pounds in aid to plug the holes in your budget, just as my father and grandfather endured rationing in order that food could be sent to a starving mainland. We are your friends, your powerful friends, but do not push us too far. Thank you.
Mr. Flack, I think you pushed Mr. Smith a little too far. He wants to ask a question. Will you accept? Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, President, and indeed thank you, Mr. Flack, for giving way and taking the blue card. And may I congratulate you for being the very first United Kingdom Conservative to actually contribute to this debate today. Does it not strike you as strange that all your colleagues who are acting as the midwife to the Brexit vote — we've heard plenty from the Brexiteers, the charlatans, the shysters, the useful idiots today — but you're the first United Kingdom Conservative, the government of the United Kingdom, to actually speak today? Do you not think you could have said something more than warm words, flannel and nonsense?
That you consider the offer of friendship and cooperation bad words. That's what the British Conservatives and the British people are offering. And the British Conservatives sit here as part of a very large and powerful ECR group. We are a diverse group with diverse views. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. I can see you. There's no need to wave your arms like you're swimming. I can see you. I think we need to reflect on this moment. there's an internal UK issue. So I will allow you a point of order if it is a point of order, but I will be strict if it's not. You have been warned. Thank you.
Madam Chair, most people in the Chair are not as observant as you, so may I congratulate you for that. Can I ask Mr Smith to please withdraw his remarks on Brexiteers? They are unparliamentary and demean this Parliament.
Just briefly, colleagues, please allow me. Mr Woolfe, are you also looking to...
Under the order of parliamentary language, I would ask Mr Smith to withdraw the use of the word shyster. As someone of Jewish heritage, he should fully aware and understand the power of that term and how demeaning it actually is.
I've taken note of your comments.